stream. Today we have a special guest, and his name is Chris. He's from he has a YouTube channel, Yellow Productions, and we're going to talk a little bit about his channel. We're going to talk about how he uses travel credit cards, because he does use travel credit cards to travel the world, and he's been all over the world. So what's going on, Chris? How you doing?
Hey, David. Hey, everybody. It's so good to virtually meet you all. Look forward to hanging out with you here for this hour tonight.
All right. So let's talk about the channel. So how did you get this channel started? What was your game plan? I know you've had the channel out for a little bit. So how did you work that out? Did you start off as a travel guide channel, or did you kind of evolve over time? How did it all work out?
Yeah, so I started my YouTube channel in 2008. That's when I first created the channel, but I would say kind of the predecessor of the channel starts before 2008 to 2004, when I met my girlfriend at the time, now wife. But we went on a trip to Japan together, and we did kind of home movies of our trip to Japan. We shared it with our friends off my personal website, and people would ask us things like, Chris, that was really cool, but hey, when you were in Japan, how did you take the train, or how did you ride the subway? What hotels did you stay in? And so as we would go on our travels, we'd still make the family videos, and we'd get all these kinds of questions. And we said, hey, when YouTube came out, we started making videos that were more of the informative variety. And so I like to say that the videos on Yellow Productions, they are travel guides that are fun, informative, and entertaining. And over the last 11 years, we've published over 700 travel guides, ranging from London to Singapore to over 100 on Japan, and over 100 hotel reviews. So that's how we got started on the channel, and that's where we are today.
Okay, Yellow Productions.
Yellow
Where did that
Productions
name come from?
Yeah, great question. So yellow, so I drive a yellow car. And so now the question is, well, so why is my car yellow? And when I was 16 years old, my car was silver, and I got into an accident with a drunk driver. And after that accident, I needed to get my car repainted. And I was at the car painting place, and I'm looking up at the board of colors. This is the board of colors up here. And I said, what color should I paint my car that somebody will see me in? Right, having just got into an accident with a drunk driver, and I decided on yellow. And then yellow, just ever since I got a yellow car, yellow became my thing. I have a yellow watch, I wear yellow shirts. So when I started the channel, I called it Yellow Productions. So that's
got it. And I mean, the marketing is superb, because I would not have. I mean, I saw him at VidCon just like, was it last week, a week and a half ago? I wouldn't have recognized you if you didn't have the yellow shirt on.
Sure.
So the fact that he had the yellow shirt on, he stood out from everybody else that was in the room. And I'm like, hey, that's a yellow protection guy.
That's a guy. Yeah. So sometimes I hear people yell like, a yellow shirt guy, Yeah.
Yeah, and even when I went up to you, I was kind of like, I know you. And you're wearing the yellow shirt, and it all kind of clicked. I'm like, yeah, okay.
So, I didn't start with the yellow shirt. It was actually, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, my brother-in-law, he was like, Chris, you name your channels Yellow Productions. You should wear yellow shirts. And he made me some yellow shirts. He's the one who kind of made the logo. And so I started wearing the yellow shirts. And like now, if I make a video or I take a picture and I don't have a yellow shirt, people are like, dude,
who's that guy?
Where's the yellow shirt?
Yeah, but I mean, it's excellent marketing, though. I mean, the fact because that's like your character, right? You have a yellow shirt, people recognize you as with the yellow shirt.
That's right.
I think that's amazing.
And when I drive the yellow car and I wear the yellow watch and things like that, people see me and they're like, "Let me guess, you like yellow?" Like, yeah, very good. It's a good one.
Yeah. All right. So we got to talk about this too, the Panda. So you have a Panda that you have in all of your videos. And what is that Panda all about?
Yeah, great question. So I'm Chris, he's Topher. Together we make Christopher, right? Christopher.
Got it.
And actually, I have a third Panda. He's not here today because this Panda's been in all my videos. A fan actually said they had a Panda that they bought a long time ago. It was sitting in their attic. They sent that Panda. So the second Panda, his name is Columbus, because see, the three of us together make Christopher Columbus, which is a famous explorer. But my wife and I, a long time ago, we went to the San Diego Zoo and we bought this panda at the San Diego Zoo. And then we brought this panda on one of our trips to like Hawaii or something like that. And we just thought it would be fun to have kind of another little thing in the videos. And my wife, she goes by the name OC Girl on our channel because we live in Orange County, California, and she's the voice of Topher. So if you ever hear like a girlish voice, sometimes people go like, "Why do you have such a girlish voice voicing that panda?" I'm like, "It's not my voice, right?" And so that's the way OC Girl comes through on the video. She doesn't like to be in front of the camera. She likes to be behind the camera. So she's the one often running it, and then this is her embodiment in front of the camera. So that's the story behind Topher. And then we kind of turned it into like when we do hotel reviews, instead of rating them on a scale of 1 to 5 stars, we rate them on a scale of 1 to 5 Tophers, right? It's a little more fun, you know. And when it's time to subscribe to my channel, instead of a boring just subscribe message coming up, you know, Topher comes out and pops out like a little like, please subscribe.
Got it. All right. So have you counted the number of places that you've traveled? I know you've been all over the world. Do you have like a number of places that you traveled to?
Boy, number of places. I mean, it's hard to define place, right? But I've done like the count of countries, and the count of countries is approximately 30. So
okay, all right. And so let's talk about the travel credit cards. I know you have travel credit cards, and I want to be like you someday, where I've traveled to 30 countries. So when did you get started with travel credit cards, and Well, let's just start. When did you get started with them?
Okay. So it's probably about the same time that we got started making videos or traveling. So I referenced this first trip we took to Japan back in 2004. And in that case, we paid for the whole trip ourselves. And, you know, when you pay for things yourself, it gets expensive because you pay for flights and hotels and all those things. And so then we started traveling more. And then I'd see things like airline lounges, and I'd see things in hotels that were like the concierge lounge. And I'm like, I wonder what that is. What's in there, right? And I'd start researching like, well, what is that? And so then I started reading Flyer Talk. Flyer Talk is a frequent flyer message board. I was pretty active on Flyer Talk. I'd read some pretty regular frequent flyer blogs like 1 Mile at a Time, View from the Wing. One of my current favorites is Doctor of Credit. But reading Flyer Talk, I would go to some in-person meetups. There were things like in Phoenix that were one-day meetups. And it turned from a just virtual thing to then this one guy, and I forget his name now, but he started up the Chicago seminars, he's like, we're going to get the largest collection of frequent flyers together ever. We're going to do it in Chicago. We're going to rent out a hotel and get a bunch of people together just to talk about miles and points. And so I attended that in 2010. And then there's also like a group of conferences called Frequent Traveler University. So I've attended a number of those, and a lot of the big bloggers go there. For those of you who read The Points Guy, or if you're familiar with The Points Guy's blog, Brian Kelly's first time he was at a conference, starting up his blog, day one, was at that Chicago seminars in 2010.
Oh, wow.
So, I met Brian Kelly when he was just random dude, be like, come to my website that has one blog post on it.
Now he's on national TV.
That's right.
And does interviews and stuff. Yeah.
And so I got kind of down that whole thing to be like, well, travel's expensive, but if all I need to do is open up a couple of credit cards and spend a few $1,000s on it, and now I've got enough miles to go business class round trip to Japan and a week of hotels, then all of a sudden travel becomes much cheaper, right? Almost free if all you're paying for is your food when you go someplace. So
yeah, absolutely. And it's I mean, it's changed the way that I view like travel. Before I was the same way, where it's like it was too expensive, so you can only maybe take one trip a year. Now I'm just looking at like, I'm looking for free time from work so I can go ahead and travel.
I've got more miles and points than I think I could use on United Airlines, and not like redeemable miles. But last year I passed the million-mile threshold on United Airlines.
Wow.
And then last year I also got Marriott Lifetime Titanium, which is the if you've stayed at Marriott for over 750 nights, and then you've spent X amount of dollars, then they award you that status.
Wow.
a lot of time in hotels. But
Oh, wow. So what is, at this point, what card do you use the most?
Card I use the most is the Chase Sapphire Reserve card.
Yes.
Do you have the Chase Sapphire Reserve card?
Absolutely. Yeah. That is my card of choice. It's going to upset some people in the room because, we have some Amex people here, but
sure. If it makes
Reserve.
them feel better, I also have an Amex Platinum card.
But you don't use it now.
I do not use it to spend. No, I have the Amex Platinum card.
Hey, but you have the airline credit with the Amex Platinum, right?
I use it for that. Yeah, that's pretty much the spend I put on it.
The gift cards.
Yeah, right. Southwest gift cards, something like that. Right, those are always
not anymore. All right, I'm teasing. But yeah, so Chase Sapphire Reserve, you use that for pretty much the majority of your
like food and all that stuff. I use that. I've also got I've got a Chase United card, and I put a fair bit of spend on that too, because the Chase United card, if you put 25,000 of spend on it, then it waives the premier qualifying dollar requirement that goes along with the elite status on United. And I still kind of chase that treadmill of premier platinum status, which I don't spend $7,500 on tickets, but I do fly 75,000 miles a year. So once I kind of reach that threshold on that card, then I put the rest of my spend on the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Or if I'm traveling to hotels, that's worth 3 points, I put it on there. If it's not a travel category, then I put it on the United card.
Okay. All right. Let's do a little intermission. So if you guys are in here right now, please hit the like button so we can promote this out. So YouTube will promote it out so more people can see what we're doing here and join the party here.
I just liked it. So
Thank you. Yeah, maybe I should let me go over and like it too. But please hit the like button. We have about 30 people in here now. If you hit the like button, we can definitely get some more people in. I'm going to get some shout outs too. So if you guys are in the room, just let us know you're here by saying hello, or give us a little thumb up emoticon or something, so I can give you some credit for coming in here. And I appreciate everybody stopping by to hear Chris talk about his travels. So let's give some shout outs real quick. So Damien, how you doing? David, what's going on? Julio, how you doing? Will, what's going on? Walker, what's up, buddy? How to get 800 credit score? What's going on, man? Let's see. I think I said David, what's up? James, how you doing? Pac-Man, what's going on? Veronica, how you doing? Scott, what's going on? Tanner, how are you doing? Kathy, nice to see you. Dolly, how you doing? Will, what's going on? Will just had his live stream on. He probably just got off his live stream. Let's see. Edwin, what's going on? Chris, what's going on? Anthony, what's going on? And Brashad, how you doing? And Hip, what's going on? Now, if you guys have questions for Chris, go ahead and start putting them in the chat now. We're going to talk a little bit more with Chris, and then we'll do some Q&A. So if you guys have questions you want to ask him, go ahead and put it in the chat right now for us. Okay, so what is your favorite destination as far as where you've traveled?
Yeah. So I kind of break it down into favorite destinations based upon like continent. So I'd say my favorite place in Asia to go to, like as a country, is Japan. I love Japan just as an entire country to travel, because it's their transportation's great, the food is great, it's safe, you don't have to worry about anything. And what I like about Japan, particularly coming from the US, is it feels very different from the US. Whereas I'll say, like, going to Europe feels like maybe some East Coast cities just with slightly different writing on them. Like, it doesn't feel all that much different, whereas Japan feels very different. In Europe, probably my favorite place in Europe is Vienna in Austria. As like one of the few cities that wasn't like destroyed in the world wars. It kind of, its old town has a feeling of almost like the Disney version of Europe, like just this kind of like quaint little town. And my favorite place, if I just want to go and relax, is the island of Maui in Hawaii.
Ah, okay. What about Kauai? You were in Kauai. You didn't like Kauai?
I like Maui better than Kauai. I
Okay.
personally found Kauai too sleepy and boring. That was my perspective.
Really?
Like when it gets dark, like Kauai is like
Shuts
dead.
down.
Yeah, and then there's nothing
Right.
left to eat. Like our plane landed at like 8:30, and I'm like, what is open? Like nothing's open. So yeah, that's why.
Yeah. I mean, I just got back from Kauai. I've stayed in Maui before. I didn't really like Maui.
Okay, what part of Maui did you
Yeah.
stay in?
Oh God, I can't even remember the name of the area. It was
Like Lahaina? Did you stay in Lahaina? Did you stay in Wailea? The north part, the south part?
Wailea. It was Wailea. It
In the
was
south.
Wailea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't really like it. Kauai. I love Kauai. I've been to Kauai 4 times.
All right.
I was only in Maui once, so I can't really.
Okay.
I didn't give it enough time, I guess you could say. But Kauai, yeah, I love the fact that everything shuts down at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. It's a good place to relax. You don't have to worry about the hustle and bustle. There's 2 roads that go through the island. I mean, I like it. People seem more laid back. If you compare it to like Waikiki, it's a madhouse in Waikiki.
Waikiki is a madhouse.
Yeah.
I would say Waikiki is not a place to go really for a beach vacation. Like Waikiki is like the city next to the beach. It's the Las Vegas of beach cities,
Yeah.
But in Maui, so the Andaz Hotel in Maui is my favorite hotel anywhere in the world.
Hyatt, Team Hyatt.
That's right. And if you're wondering, I use Hyatt points to stay there. So, and it's like one of those hotels that's, $500, $600, $700 a night. So when you can stay there for a week and you don't pay anything, right? It's pretty good. So
yeah, it's amazing. And I saw you stayed at the Grand Hyatt too when you're in Kauai.
Yeah,
that's a nice place. I just stayed there on my last trip.
Yeah. The Grand Hyatt in Kauai is pretty nice. The Hyatt is my favorite. Like, so we talked about points, right? So why I like the Chase Sapphire Reserve. My favorite redemption with the Chase Ultimate Rewards points is transfers to Hyatts to stay at Hyatts. I find
why is that? I know the answer to this, but I want you to tell everyone else.
Okay,
non-believers.
So one, I feel like it's the best value for redemptions, right? So like the Park Hyatt New York City, it's normally $750, and it's one of those just Hyatts. I feel provide the nice ones, the best level of service of any of the hotel chains. I mean, they're just amazing, right? And I feel like if you stay at a nice hotel, it's fantastic. And it's a great use of points again, right? Whereas if I transferred my Chase points to Marriott or Hilton, I would not get as much value as I would if I transferred it to Hyatt. So that's why.
Yeah. And you can even stay, and I tell people all this all the time. You could stay at even a Hyatt place or a Hyatt house, and they're still nice. And you get the free breakfast. And I mean, in the points, the category 1, 5,000 points for a free night. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I can't say enough good things about Hyatt. I use Hyatt as well. I have the whole Chase ecosystem, so I transfer my points over to Hyatt. I have the World of Hyatt card.
I just wish there were more Hyatts, right? Like my issue with Hyatt is there aren't enough of them, and there are way more Marriotts. So that's often why I stay at Marriott's more, because there's just more chances to stay at Marriott's.
Yeah, that's true. And I like to travel to Colombia a lot, and there's only one Hyatt in the whole country of Colombia. They're getting one more. I think they're building one, or they're in the process of building one in Bogota, but there's only one. It's in Cartagena. I haven't even stayed there yet because I've been back to Cartagena since they opened it. But yeah, that is one of that's the only thing that I really don't like about Hyatt, the fact that they're just not everywhere.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we have a question from David. What's going on, David? He's asking, is this your full-time job as far as YouTube?
YouTube is not my full-time job. I consider it my very involved hobby. I spend a lot of time making videos, editing videos, but my full-time job, I actually have an office job. Actually, my main channel is called Yellow Productions. I recently started a second channel called The Office Survival Guide, and I started that channel talking all about like tips to work in an office. And I say the reason why I started that channel is I say, well, a lot of people ask me, Chris, how is it that you can afford to travel so much? And I usually give answers like, well, miles and points, but I mean, really the reason I can afford to travel is I have a full-time office job. I have a computer science background, and so that helps that helps pay for food and all those things, right? Which you don't get on miles and points. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and then people often ask the question, well, Chris, 100,000 subscribers or something, doesn't YouTube pay you a ton of money? And not really. They really don't. I would say, the funds that I get off AdSense are enough to help pay for the expensive cameras and the lights and all those things and help offset the costs, but it's definitely not enough to make a living on.
Yeah, definitely. If you're doing like a YouTube live streams, just shooting videos, you have to put a lot of money into your equipment. If you want it to look halfway decent, you do. So yeah, a lot of your money, I know a lot of my money, and I have a photography background. Like I do that as well on the side, but I spend a lot of money on, I mean, I just got a new softbox, and I had an old softbox, but I wanted to get a different one. You're constantly spending money on stuff, and not like, I'm going to be honest, I like the gear. So anytime I get a little AdSense check from YouTube, I'm like, oh God, what can I buy?
There you go. It helps justify that purchase, right? You're like,
exactly.
I can go buy this now. So,
this is an investment. I'm investing more money into, my channel.
That's right. That's right. And by the way, because I know some of you are Yellow Production subscribers, if you come over here and you say, Chris looks a lot bluer than he usually does, it's today I'm using a different webcam, which kind of has a slightly bluer tint on it. So I'm not pale or sick if I seem to have a lack of color in my face.
Okay. All right. So James is saying, great to see us.
Great to see you, James.
Great to see you too, James. Let's see. Let's move on down some of the questions here. Where's your next trip? Where are you planning on going next, Chris?
Our next trip is to United Kingdom, to the UK. We're going to London. We're going to spend 7 nights in London and kind of take day trips out of London. So that's our next trip.
I have a question for you. I love the way you do your travel guides, like where you're, you stand in front of the place that you're talking about, and it's you and your wife. I would imagine she's holding the camera while you're doing that stuff. How do you script that? Like, I mean, do you do research before you get there, or do you get there and talk to people and then say, okay, this is what we're gonna do? Like, how do you? It seems like, it honestly seems like it takes you the whole day to shoot the video. And I'm imagining your wife probably is like, I want to enjoy a vacation and not like work. You know what I mean?
I would say we're very interesting as a traveling couple because, let's say we follow like a walking tour from a book and it says this walking tour should take 1 hour. It takes us 3. It takes us 3 hours to do that 1 hour walking tour. And like we do the video, my wife, she's also into photography. So she takes photos. She's got an Instagram page and writes a blog. And so it's one of those where she'll do some video of me and I'll take some pictures of her. And, but yeah, it is one of those that we do park a lot of time on each attraction. So we're not one of those travelers that's like, okay, I got the checklist and I have to spend 10 or 15 minutes at each location. We're like, where people might spend 15 minutes, we're spending an hour. Or we're trying to figure out, when we get there, we want to get there when the lighting is good, because if I need to stand with the Eiffel Tower to my back, then the sun can't be with the Eiffel Tower, right? But to answer your question about research, so I typically kind of do 3 things to prepare for like the travel guides that I do. Like one, if I'm going to London, I've already done a bunch of videos on London, but let's just say before I went to London the first time to do videos, I'll buy a bunch of London books. I'll probably buy like 5 books on a destination. If Rick Steves ever has a book on a place, I buy the Rick Steves book. I love Rick Steves books. I do research online on Yelp and TripAdvisor and all those things to figure out like where to eat. But then I don't record things until I've actually experienced them, because the stuff that you read in a book or the stuff that you read on a website,
that's something falling into my backdrop there.
Right. See, if this wasn't a live stream, we'd probably just cut that out. But, and so I don't want to be someone who just passes on. This is the same thing that 27 people said and cut and paste and you put it in there, but then you get to the place and you're like, but that's not even true. That doesn't even make sense. Good. Or everybody recommends to ride the subway, but don't ride the subway because it's hot or filthy or whatever. So that all kind of comes into then making the actual video.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I love the way you do that. Like it's a like I was watching the Vegas the one you did on Vegas, and you're
Yeah.
standing in front of all the. I just I think it's good. Eventually, one day, I'm going to start doing some more travel guide stuff because I think it's really good for people just like me. Like I watched your Kauai, the video that you did on Kauai prior to going to Kauai, just so I can see. Okay, he says this is a good place. This is a good place, and so I think it really helps people when it comes to wanting to travel and knowing where to go and kind of getting information. It's easy to read a book, yeah, but honestly, I rather just watch a video and
I
see
agree. I
people
agree.
going to different
I
places.
agree with you. Right? Yeah, you just watch a video and you get everything you need from it. Right? In 10 minutes,
You can watch the video.
Yeah, I know what that looks like. Do I like it or not? From a book, you're like, I don't know. Is that interesting? It's hard to tell from just reading some stuff.
Yeah. Or you're sitting in the airport, you're waiting for your flight, and you just pull it up and watch Yellow Productions travel guide to here. I mean, and you've been so many places. It's like, okay, I can just go to Yellow Productions and find all these different, these different destinations.
Yeah. Well,
so,
and part of how I decide like what to make videos on too is if when I'm going to a destination, I search YouTube for stuff and things that there aren't good videos on, then those are things that I try to focus on, right? So when I went to London, I'm like, videos on Camden Market or the best street markets or the best cheap eats were just things I didn't find content for. So, and if I go to a destination, I'm thinking of doing something, but I look up and somebody's already produced a really good video on that topic, I'll be like, what? I don't need to repeat something that's already there, right? And I'll do something slightly different.
Cool. Okay, let's see. James is asking, where is the bunny today?
Yeah, that's a great question, James. The bunny hangs out in a different room than I use kind of for the studio here for live streaming. He's down where I edit, so he's probably munching on some hay at the moment. By the way, for those of you who don't know, our only real pet is a mini lop, and his name is MacGyver, like the TV show, and he's a mini lop. He's got the ears that instead of going up, they go down.
Got it. All right, guys. Yes, please hit the like button so we can bring some more people in. And if you guys are new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. We talk about travel reward credit cards and just inspire people to travel more by having talks with like Chris and other people that travel the world. Okay,
cool. Let's answer Tanner's question because he's asked it like 3 times.
Where did Tanner?
He just put it in there. He said, "Would you want to attend an event like an Olympics, World Cup, etc. in the future?" Which I think is a variant of any interest in attending the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. And I'll say maybe we can both answer this question. But maybe I'll take
that whole thing. So just a quick reminder: 2020 Tokyo Olympics be. I didn't even see the other question.
I don't know. He just sent like a couple of them. So maybe it's hiding.
I'm missing questions here.
right. I don't know. I'm looking at the live chat.
Yeah, I have a different little thing that I look at.
So while you look, I'm going to go ahead and answer that question.
Okay. Yes.
But yeah, Tanner, I think the 2020 Tokyo Olympics would certainly be neat. Though, of course, the thing to think about is then, does that make Tokyo and Japan just so much more expensive and so much harder to go to? One of the things people often ask is they say, Chris, how do you decide where to travel? And I always say, I decide to go places where they're cheap, right? One of the reasons why we're going to London is we were able to get like $600 round trip tickets from Los Angeles. And if it's expensive when we want to go, then we don't go. So that's actually probably why we're not going to go for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, because everything's going to be more expensive and everything's going to be more crowded and everything's going to be busy. So then I guess to answer that general question of would I want to attend an event like the Olympics, World Cup, the Super Bowl was in San Diego. I didn't actually go into the Super Bowl, but I went to all the festivities of the Super Bowl, and I don't know, it's just a lot of people, and I don't think it's that fantastic. So, and then OC Girl, who is my wife in the chat, she pointed out MacGyver, mini lop. He's a Holland lop. So in case you're curious about the particular breed of rabbit, it's a Holland lop. All right. Cool. I think MacGyver was saying that. So that's it. Okay, she's in the room with MacGyver right now. All right. So David, what about you? Do you want to attend an Olympics or World Cup in the future?
You know what? Well, I'm aging myself, but I did attend the 1984 Olympics.
All right.
It was in Los Angeles, so I
Yeah.
did attend that. Went to, well, we didn't even have to pay for tickets to do the cycling. They had a cycling event that was on the freeway, on the 91 freeway, if you guys are familiar with Southern California, Los Angeles area. So I did that, and then we actually went to a track meet. So yeah, so I've attended one. Would I go to Tokyo? Probably not for the Olympics. Yeah, I'm kind of like you. I mean, there's just too many people. It's just, yeah, it's just really chaotic. I probably wouldn't go. Plus, everything is, mean, it's going to be through the roof as far as cost and everything. So the hotel and
Yeah.
David, airfare, I think I could use points, but.
I noticed one thing in common. Both you and I have maps in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It just keeps me, focused on there's more out there than just Los Angeles, right?
Right. That's right.
And you start looking around and you think, yeah, I want to travel here. I want to hit this continent. I want to hit here. I want to hit there. Yeah, absolutely. The map. Why do you have the map? Just looks nice.
That map is actually, we found it at a like an antiquing thing, like an antique thrift show, like a vintage fair in Long Beach. And if you're curious about this map was made in 1950 is when that map is from. So
okay,
really cool historic map of Western Europe. So I like maps. So we have a lot of maps around our house. So.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. And like I said, one day I'll be like you, where I'm traveling to 30 different countries. Let's see. All right, guys, if you have questions, please put them in the chat, and also hit the like button so we can bring more people in here to see the interview here. Let's see. Okay, so Tanner has a question. What do you consider the best Hawaiian island for first timers?
The best Hawaiian island for first timers. It depends on what you like in an island. So I would say, like, if I had to pick one, I would say Oahu is the best island for first timers. And I say, because Oahu has a little bit of everything. If you want crazy, busy, hectic, good restaurants, Waikiki has a lot of that. If you want like more quiet beaches, you could stay like up on the North Shore, or you could stay over on the side opposite from Waikiki. Or if you like Disney stuff, you can stay where the Aulani Hotel is in Ko'olina, which is actually my favorite part of Oahu. So when I make a recommendation for people that are going to Hawaii the first time, I usually recommend they stay in Ko'olina for 4 nights, and then they stay in Waikiki for 3 nights, and then they can kind of experience the best of it. I will say Maui, I think it's the quintessential like honeymooners island. And Maui is an expensive island. And then, David says, right, he loves Kauai. And so if you're a nature lover and what you want is to just get away from it all, then Kauai is a great place to do that, because it's got that 2-lane road and a bunch of chickens, right? And if you want to see a volcano, well, the big guy.
A bunch of chickens, you're right about that.
Oh, yeah.
They're crazy. They got chickens everywhere.
They
just
sure do.
roaming the streets.
They sure do.
All right, let's see. Have any more questions? Okay, so Chris is asking about airline credit cards. Do you have any airline credit cards right now? And if you do, what's your favorite airline credit card?
Yeah, I have airline credit cards from all the major airlines. I have the United card. I have an American Airlines card. I have a Delta card. And I think really the answer is whatever airline or alliance it is that you fly the most, right? And I'll say it doesn't make sense to get a bunch of Delta miles if you live in a place that there aren't any Delta flights. Now, I'm going to be showing my preference. I think United is really good for redemption, because I think United is part of Star Alliance, and I think Star Alliance has good international redemptions. I think Delta miles are they're officially called Sky Miles, but people refer to them as Sky Pesos because they're nearly worthless. And then American Airlines miles, if what you want to do is travel to Europe and you want to travel to Europe in business class, the only flights ever available in One World for redemption with American Airlines miles are on British Airways that have horrendous copays.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's why
I
I go
went
back.
through that.
Yeah, right. And then you're like,
Yeah.
I'm redeeming 100,000 miles and paying $3,000.
Yeah, I didn't go that far. It was 600, but
Okay.
still.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that flight on British Airways, because I was flying back from Paris, and that British Airways flight, first
Uh-huh.
class, it was a 747, and back when they were still flying, I don't think they're flying with British Airways anymore, but that was the most amazing flight ever. But
Yeah.
yes, it was. It was. I think at the time it was 75,000 points. It was a one-way ticket, 75,000 points, and $600
Yeah. That's a hefty
for
copay,
taxes and fees. Man, I'm like, what, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I was like, oh god, I just want to fly first class so bad. I got to do it. So I used the Chase Sapphire Reserve. I used the $300 credit because I had just gotten the credit, so I went ahead and used that. So that softened the blow a little bit, and then I paid the other $300.
Right.
But I'm telling you that first class experience is something I've never experienced in travel. Period. In life. Period. As far as travel.
Yeah. And so then on that note, and so it's like, well, so I said, I think the United cards are the best, but the best way to earn United miles is not with any United credit card. The best way to earn United miles is with the Chase Sapphire Reserve because it'll earn 3 points per dollar on any travel spend, which is food or restaurants and all those kinds of things. So.
Yeah, and guess who gets upset about that? United gets upset because the Chase Sapphire Reserve is a better earner than their card. Well, make a better card, United. Right. You know, I mean, they're both Chase. So United's upset with Chase because the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Well, if you give us only 2 points for every dollar spent on United flights, who wants that? Like, of course we're going to go with the 3 points for every dollar spent. Or even the Chase Sapphire Preferred that gives you 2 points for every dollar spent. It's still more valuable because those points I can use for hotel stays at Hyatt, or I mean, it's just it's more flexible within the Chase ecosystem as opposed to just United. So I know they had a little gripe, they're having some issues. Let's just say that. So hopefully they work it out, and I think the easiest thing. I think the easiest thing for United to do though is just to change their categories. Like if you can't compete, then change it to not restaurants, but grocery stores or something else. Right. And then people will use the cards for the card for that instead of trying to fight with Chase, Chase Sapphire Reserve. Yeah. I don't think they'll come out on top with that. And they're two different level cards anyway. So yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay, so Rashad has a question. What's your favorite credit card that is not Amex or Chase? Do you have any of those cards?
I do have some of those cards. I get on and off the Bank of America Alaska Airlines card. It's one that has a pretty decent sign-up bonus. I sort of say I have that one on and off because I never keep it for a very long time. It's one of those I probably get for the sign-up bonus, and then it goes away after I've had it for a little while. I think that one of the other ones that I used to like, but I don't like so much anymore, is the Citi Prestige card. The Citi Prestige card had the 4th night free benefit, but they recently cannibalized that card. So I would say that then my next favorite is the Capital One Venture card.
Okay. Yeah. I would definitely. I don't have the Venture card, but that Venture card I think is a good card. Now they have the transfer partners, so I think it's a stronger card, and it's easy to use. Like I tell people, if you're just starting out with travel credit cards, you might want to go with that card because it's 2 points for every dollar spent on everything. So you don't have to think, oh, I'm sitting in a restaurant. Am I going to get 2 points for every dollar spent, or am I going to get 3 points for every dollar spent? Or you don't have to think about it. Just use the card. You're going to get 2 points for every dollar spent across the board. And it has that global entry, which I think is excellent. I don't know if you have global entry or
I have global entry. I travel too much to not have global entry.
That is just gold. I see you eating In-N-Out today, huh?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm a big In-N-Out fan. So.
Those people that aren't on the West Coast don't know about In-N-Out.
That's right. It's too bad for them, frankly.
But yeah, I definitely think as far as the venture card, having that global entry, I think that's a really, really powerful. I mean, it's a $95 annual fee card, and they waive it the first year. So you get global entry, which is $100 credit for nothing.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And you keep it for 5 years.
Right.
So yeah, I think the venture cards are definitely a good card. I also like the Alaska card. I don't have that, but I've had points in Alaska because I had the Citi Premier card way back in the day, and I transferred my points over to Virgin America. And then from there, when Virgin America and Alaska merged, then I transferred my points over to Alaska. So I had some points in Alaska, and you get some really good redemption with that, with those points as far as flying on business class. I think it's like 50,000 points is what I used to fly business class one way. Right. But yeah, really, really good value. And the thing that's really powerful about Alaska is they have partners. So I flew, I booked it on Alaska, but I flew on Hainan Air coming back from Thailand. So that's a good value as well. Yeah. Like some of the other airlines, like a JetBlue or Southwest, they don't have like partners that you can work with. So it just makes it that much stronger. Okay, let's see. So I hope we answered your question, Rashad. And I right now, the only other card that I have that's not Chase is the Citi Advantage card, which I don't use. I mean, it's sitting in my sock drawer.
I have one of those as well, just so that I can get slightly higher priority boarding when I do fly American Airlines. So
yeah, exactly.
And then my first check bag for free. So yeah. Okay,
so you travel a lot. What's your favorite airline experience, and what's not your favorite airline experience? So let's do the best and the worst.
Great. I would say my favorite airline experience in general is the Asian airlines. I think Asian airlines are just superior to all the other airlines. In particular, Singapore Airlines. I feel like Singapore Airlines is just head and shoulders above every other airline. Like their staff is friendly and nice, and their aircraft is clean. And if you're flying Singapore Airlines in business class, anywhere else other than to or from the U.S., they make like saute, which is like chicken on a stick, but then they flame grill it on the plane. They can't do it to or from the U.S. because we say, you can't have open flame on the plane. But their food's amazing. Their lounges are amazing. I love connecting through Singapore's airport. So Singapore Airlines is my favorite airline experience. If it's not Singapore Airlines and it's like a European airline, my favorite European airline is Lufthansa. And not necessarily because I think Lufthansa has the best planes, but Lufthansa's planes work and they're on time, which, I wouldn't necessarily say about like Alitalia or something like that, right? And I would say one of our worst airline experiences was flying Alitalia. We were flying back from Paris, and we got to LA, and our bags didn't show up. And actually, no, we were flying back from Rome. The reason why I said Paris will make sense. We were flying back from Rome to LAX. We get to LAX, our bags aren't there. And then we go to the bag claim thing, and we're like, here's our tags. Where's our luggage? And they look it up in the system, and they're like, your luggage is in Paris.
Oh, God.
Why is our luggage in Paris? Like, we weren't even going to Paris. How did our bags get to Paris? I mean, it was just a disaster. And it's not like we misconnected. They just put our bags on the entirely wrong flight, right? So
wow. That's crazy.
Though I did have an even worse experience with luggage, which was with Brussels Airlines. So I was flying to France and the south of France, San Diego to Washington Dulles to Brussels, Brussels to the south of France. And I get to South France, my bags aren't there. I go to the bag claim desk. I'm like, hey, do you know where my bags are? And this was a different response. Do you know where my bags are? They're like, well, let's see your tags. They pull up in the system and they're like, nope.
We don't know where they are.
Right. I'm like, okay. I'm like, can we do something about that? And they're like, well, fill out this form, and then you can call us tomorrow at this phone number to check on the status, and you can call us between 10 to 12 and 2 to 4 Brussels time. It's like, so you guys are open for 4 hours a day. My luggage never showed up while I was in France. 2 weeks later, when I was back in San Diego at the time, I got a call from U.S. Airways. U.S. Airways said, Mr. Rainey, your luggage just arrived here at the airport. Would you like to come and pick it up? Yeah, I'm like, okay. And my luggage had all these tags on it from like all the different airports it had been to. I think it traveled the world. And I opened it, and my luggage was soaked. Like, it was soaked, and my clothes were like blue and green, and I don't know what spilled on it or where it was, but it was destroyed. So then I spent the next 3 months trying to get a claim out of Brussels Airlines. And
really?
And they originally they didn't want to replace the bag, and they didn't want to replace the stuff. So they said, well, maybe you can get the suitcase cleaned and you can get your clothes cleaned. I'm like, tell you what, I'll mail it to you and you can clean it. How's that sound? And eventually they decided to pay for it. But they would only pay for things I had receipts for.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Let's see. James has a question here. Chris, which is your favorite South American country? Have you gone to South America?
I have never been to South America, so I don't have a good answer for that.
Central America, Mexico?
I've been to Mexico. We've been to
Mexico?
Cabo San Lucas and Ensenada and things like that. But that's about it. What about you, David? You traveled south.
Well,
you said you went to Colombia.
knows. Actually, I'm going to meet up with James in Colombia.
Okay.
In October, but yeah, Colombia is my favorite. Actually, in South America, the only place I've been to is Colombia, so I haven't been anywhere else. Not going to Venezuela anytime soon, and Brazil is on the list, but just haven't gotten out there yet.
Do you speak Spanish, David?
A little bit, yeah, enough to communicate a little bit. Still learning though, still learning. Okay, we got another question here. Death Touch Panda. What's your favorite spot?
Do not touch my panda, unless you're a panda that gives death touch. But
yeah. What's your favorite? And I think you might have talked about this as far as in Maui. What's your favorite spot?
Yeah, so my favorite hotel is the Andaz in Maui. But if you're like, what's my favorite attraction or thing? And I'm gonna butcher the name, but my favorite thing in Maui is the top of the mountain. Like, there's this mountain in the middle of Maui that's like 10,000 feet high that has like a observatory on it, right? And you can like drive up to there, and because it's like it's so high, it's above where it rains in Maui. Yeah, and so it feels like the moon. I mean, it feels like some out of this world planetscape.
Yeah, it's what is it? Halalikia or something like that.
Yeah, that's
I actually
right.
did a video.
I didn't want to pronounce it
on it
because yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it either. I just did a video on it, and I drove all the way up there. And you're right, like you get above the clouds, and they have that observatory at the top, and you kind of look down. It's an amazing view.
Yeah.
It's a real nice spot. And they have those weird little plants. I don't know if you saw those, like they look almost like silver.
Right.
I don't know what
they're called silver something, right? It's the only place in the world that those plants grow. Right?
It looks fake, but it's like a real plant. It's like a silver color. All right, let's see what other questions we have. Okay, so we have a question from D Bizzle. What's the worst place you've been, David and Chris? I'll go first. I always have a good time wherever I go, to be honest with you. I haven't been to a place where I was like, God, this is just the worst place that I've ever traveled to. I can't think of anything. Like, I've had bad experiences. I think we all do. But as far as like being somewhere and just having the whole trip just a bad experience, no, I can't think of anything. What about you, Chris?
Yeah. So the worst place I've been, and I made a video about it. And it's not that the place itself is awful, but I made this video called Naples, Italy, the City of Trash. And if you can see back there, these are the large stinking piles of trash in Naples.
Wow.
Naples is famous for having these trash strikes. And when they do that, the trash workers just stop picking up trash. And so the city turns into basically a giant dump. Imagine what would happen in your city if the trash people stop picking up the trash. People still throw away trash. They throw it away in the trash can. All of a sudden, there's one trash can, and now there's so much trash. I mean, it was you see the locals walking around, and every once in a while, you'd see them do this, because when they did this, then around the corner, it's a big pile of garbage. I mean, it was the most disgusting thing. And so, like, Naples has been fined by like world organizations for like violating health standards, and now they contract with Germany to like ship their trash to Germany to incinerate their trash, and it comes and goes. And I think Naples, if they could get their trash problem under control, would be a nice place. But when they're having their trash strikes, it's awful because the whole city smells like a dumpster.
Wow. Okay, Tanner has a question. Any interest in traveling to Africa?
Yes and no. I think it would be certainly interesting, though I certainly have some safety concerns, and I also have like food concerns. I mean, I guess I'm somebody who likes to travel to first world places. So, you know, like maybe like I think it'd be neat to go to like Johannesburg or things like that. But you know, I don't know that I want to go anytime to like someplace like Liberia, right? That's, you know, I mean, there are certain people that like they seek out what I'll consider dangerous places. I'm not somebody who seeks out dangerous places.
Okay. Yeah, no, I definitely want to go to Africa. But I have concerns as well. But for the most part, there are a lot of different places, and I look at like Colombia is a good example where people think Colombia is a not a safe place to travel to. So there are a lot of people that won't travel there. But if you do some research, you can find out. So I haven't gotten to a point where I've done research on Africa, but I definitely want to venture out and go out to some of those places. I mean, the safari, as far as I'm concerned with photography, it's the place to go. To get some amazing shots of wildlife and landscapes and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's definitely on my list. All right, let's see. Thanks for the answers, fellas. You're welcome. Okay, let's see. If you get a chance to fly Air New Zealand, the safety videos. Okay, all right. Let me see if we have any questions here. Okay, we had a discussion about In-N-Out. So there's some people that don't like it.
Yeah, those are fighting words. David said In-N-Out's overrated. And, you know, I have, so some people like argue about In-N-Out Burger versus Five Guys and say Five Guys is better. And I have objective proof that that's not true, which is there's a shopping center in Orange County in Tustin where there's an In-N-Out Burger and a Five Guys, and they're both in the same plaza. And on Yelp, In-N-Out Burger gets 4.5 stars and Five Guys gets 3 stars. So I have data to prove that In-N-Out's better.
And I'm not a fan of Five Guys. Like I don't, and maybe, I don't know. I don't know how that all works out. I love In-N-Out, and people swear up and down about Five Guys. I had Five Guys, and I'm like, this is it? Like, what?
Yeah.
I must be missing something.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Maybe maybe we acquire a taste being on the West Coast and the East Coast. I don't know, but yeah, Five Guys wasn't. I didn't like it. All right, so Hip's got a question. Let's see. What's your favorite stateside destination?
Favorite stateside destination. Well, we talked about Hawaii. I mentioned Hawaii was kind of one of my favorite places. I think as another city, I mean, I think New York City is just kind of a neat place to go to. And I mean, New York City's expensive and all that, but I feel like it's just one of those world capitals that every time you go to New York, there's some great food or great pizza or new things to see. So that's my second answer beyond Hawaii. What about you, David?
Kauai is my absolute favorite place just within the U.S. What I like about Kauai, or what I like about Hawaii, period, is it's the closest to being in another country, but not being in another country, because culturally there's a lot of different things going on there as far as traditions and stuff like that. So I like that about Hawaii. You just learn a bunch of new things. And then as far as see, I was one of those guys, and I've changed my ways now, and now I'm actually traveling outside of the country. But I was one of those guys that just kept going back to Las Vegas. Like Las Vegas was my spot. And I went to college out there, and I loved going to Vegas. I still like going there. And the thing that I like about Vegas is, first off, the hotels are just amazing. Like, I mean, if you stay in the real nice hotels, they're amazing. Usually they don't cost that much comparable to if you were staying, in other places in the US or even in the world. So for what you get, you can stay at some pretty nice places, nice pools, and you have all the high-end restaurants and the celebrity chefs and all that stuff in Las Vegas. So Las Vegas has been the place where I really like to travel to. Now, like I said, I've been kind of putting it on the back burner, and I'm going to other countries and enjoying myself. But if it was in the US, it'd be Las Vegas and Kauai.
Yeah, I think Vegas is a great place to travel to because it's an easy place to travel to, right? Mm-hmm. There's like so much for tourists. The hotels are great. I do want to slightly push back on one thing that you said, mm-hmm. being and it's a funny pushback, just so you know, but it's kind of true. So you said Hawaii is the best place to feel like you're in a different country. I think Venice Beach is the best place to feel like you're in a different country. Okay. When I go to Venice Beach, I'm like I'm on a different planet or something.
Yeah, Venice Beach. I haven't been to Venice Beach in a long time, mm-hmm. And I've only been there a couple of times. But
it's just one of those super crazy where you're like, these people don't even seem like human beings. They're like all aliens or something. So.
Okay, let's see, Veronica. What is she saying here? Let's see. What have the local reactions been to finding that you're American? Are there places for us to avoid? I don't know exactly what you said. So, like, I guess when you're traveling, like, how do locals usually respond to you? When they find out you're American?
Right. I think the question on this is, do locals like that we're Americans, or do locals not like that we're Americans? And I will say that, I mean, for me in person, I've never had anybody like spit at me or be outwardly rude to me because I'm an American. We were recently in Korea. We spent a week in Korea, and the Korean kids actually love that we're Americans. Like, American culture is cool in Korea. I will say, the one that's actually interesting, and we've been talking about Hawaii, right? I actually feel like Hawaii as a place in the U.S. is one that does have a little bit of this localism, and they don't so much like the mainlanders. And it's one of the things that sometimes people post on my videos after reading comments from the locals and say, because the locals are so sour, I don't want to go to Hawaii. Because they leave comments on my videos like, oh, don't listen to this guy about cheap eats. You should ask a local. And then people respond and go, well, the reason why he watches videos, you locals won't tell us what are good places to eat, and they don't make videos. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They in Kauai, they do tell you, shop local, like go to the local grocery stores. Don't go. Right. They have, I believe it's a Safeway there, and then they have like a food. God, what's that place called?
Foodland.
Foodland. Yes, Foodland. Mm-hmm. They have a Foodland and a Big Save, and they want you to go to the local grocery stores over. And I get it. I understand it. But yeah, I did see that. They do preach that a lot. Go to locals. Go to the farmers markets that they have there. That kind of stuff. So
I'll respond to one more thing, and I'll say people often say that the French hate Americans, and I don't actually find that to be true. I know a lot of French people, and the French people that I know say that other French people that are in the tourist industry, they are just rude to everybody. So if you go to France as an American, you're like, they're rude to me as an American. No, they're just rude to everybody. So,
and that was my experience. And I'm not going to say they were rude, but they were very short with me when I was in Paris. Like, they're not outwardly just rude to you, but they're just very, very short with you, and they're not. Yeah. They don't go out of the way to try to help you find stuff, or that was just my experience. And so I kind of took it as like, wow, okay.
Yeah. My great example of that is I went into a bakery and I said to the lady behind the counter, parlez-vous anglais, right? Do you speak English? And her response was, no.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's like, okay, I clearly want something. So, but
yeah. And I don't even ask anymore, to be honest with you. And I talk about this all the time. Like when I travel to different places, I just come with English. And if they understand me, they understand me. If they don't understand me, then I'll try to fumble around with if what I know from that language. But because if you ask them, most people are going to say no, especially if they don't want to help you, or if they don't want to even try to struggle to find out what you want, then they're just going to be like, no, walk away.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Justin, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Let's see. What's your question here? Wait to be under 524, app Amex, and other business cards. So you're waiting to be under 524 right now, and then you're going to, I don't know what you're asking. Should you apply for Amex or other business cards? I don't know what the question is. Do you understand that one?
I think his question is maybe if he's trying to get under 5 cards in 24 months, should he apply for business cards now so that they don't appear on his credit report under the 524 rule, right?
You're good at interpreting this stuff.
Maybe
I'm just on a hotspot. I'm not understanding.
Yeah. I'd say sure, right? I mean, if you need more cards and you've got more spend to put on it, open the business cards because they'll show up under the same thing, right?
They're not going to add to your 524.
Right.
But if you're at 524 right now, you can't apply for business. Well, Chase business cards are not going to allow you to get them. So you have to be, if you're 424, then you can apply for business cards and you'll still be accepted. But once you hit that 524, then Chase is going to automatically not allow you to get it. Let's see. Okay, David's got a story to tell here. He's saying he got robbed at gunpoint by 4 men in Johannesburg on a busy road downtown at 10 a.m.
So what you're saying is don't go to Johannesburg is what it sounds like. All right.
Oh, he had a bad experience. Yeah. Hey, you can get robbed down the street. Sure. I mean, I don't want to, I take, like, I do my research, okay, and there are definitely good spots, bad spots to be in when you travel, but when people will bring up, oh well, my friend got robbed, or my friend did this, or they did whatever, but you got to understand that stuff happens everywhere, and you can do your research and say, yeah, I'm not going to travel here because the crime rate is really, really high. Just like if I were going to travel to certain places in the U.S., it'd be the same thing. I'm not going to travel to a place where there's, high crime rate or I know that it might not be safe. So I wouldn't shut it all down just because of that. And, it's bad. It's a bad experience to be robbed. And, I feel for you, David, but I'm just saying, don't just shut it all down because of that. But thank you for sharing your story. Let's see.
So why don't we take maybe 1 or 2 more questions, and then we're kind of
definitely. Yeah, we're hitting 1 hour. That's what we were planning on doing, 1 hour. So we'll move down to the bottom here. Let's see. Any other questions that you see that stands out that you'd want to answer?
Let's see. Sean asked, I know David loves Colombia, but Chris, out of the countries you visited, which one was your favorite and why? I think I talked about this a little bit earlier, but I love Japan. I've got over 100 videos on Japan. Another country I love to go to is Singapore. I love the food in Singapore. The food in Singapore is amazing. There's maybe we can take the Dalai Lama's tea question as the last one, which is, and it's to both of us. What Middle Eastern countries would you like to visit? David, you want to start?
Oh, man. Oh, good. Honestly, I haven't really thought too much about traveling to the Middle East. I really haven't.
Yeah.
The
So
only thing that comes to mind right now is Turkey, and that's the only place that I've even thought about, and that's only because of the Turkey commercials that they put these Turkey commercials out about traveling to Turkey, and it does look like a pretty nice destination. But I haven't really given it much thought. What about you, Chris?
I think it'd be really neat to go to Dubai. I mean, I just see like all the
Oh, I
architecture.
forgot about that one. Yeah,
it looks really futuristic. So,
oh yeah,
I think that would be really neat.
Plus, if you fly business class, first class on the Emirates,
yeah, then you can take a shower while you're on the plane.
Yeah, why not?
That's right.
Because who doesn't take a shower when they're flying? Yeah. All right, guys. We are going to call it. I appreciate everyone stopping by, and I appreciate Chris being here and doing the interview. Great. He's got a great channel, so you want to stop by and check out his channel. Do you have some other information you want to give us as far as where they can reach you on Instagram and some of your other social media?
Yeah, I just wanted to say it was fun hanging out with you, David, and it was fun hanging out with all of your fans, and it was also fun to see some Yellow Productions folks that made it over here too. So it's good to see all of you. For those of you that don't subscribe to Yellow Productions, if you just search for Yellow Productions, maybe David dropped a link in there. I don't know.
The link is in the description. Yes, absolutely. Find
it there. If you want to see the travels of Topher the Panda, if you go on Instagram and you search for the hashtag Topher the Panda, then you'll see all of Topher's travels all around. Because I feel like that's what Instagram is made for. Like YouTube, when it first started, was all about like cats falling off televisions. And so I'm trying to bring that back, bringing back pictures of the cute panda traveling around. So you can look for that on Instagram. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take off. I will be back on Saturday for another live stream, and then I'll have some videos throughout the week. So every day I'm putting out a video, so you'll have a video tomorrow as well as the rest of the week, and Saturday we'll do a live stream. What's that? It's dedication right there, video every day. Hey, I'm trying to get it done. Trying to be relevant. That's all. Okay, guys, thank you guys for stopping by. Chris, like I said, thank you again for stopping by, and we will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye. Bye.